Hi, yeah, it's Jackie here from the LGFA. We're on another Zoom call on a Thursday afternoon. You'd lose track of the days these days, I have to say. So it's Thursday afternoon, looking ahead to the weekend's club action. We had a review of the weekend's club action earlier on in the week. You can take a look at that video across our channels. But looking ahead, I'm delighted to be joined by Fiona McHale from Carnacon and Mayo, who we were chatting before we started recording. They have a nice tasty assignment coming up at the weekend, so we'll chat to Fiona about that. Roisin Howard from Cahir in County Tipperary, they're out tomorrow night against the Banner Ladies in the Munster Club Championship, and Gavin Mangan is captain of the Naomh Ciaran team, who will play Portlaoise in the Leinster Club Championship at the weekend. So ladies, thanks for coming on. How's all?
Well, thanks, Jackie.
Good, yeah.
Apprehensive smiley faces, knowing what's coming in store for you at the weekend. I'm going to kick off with you, Fiona, because Carnacon and Kilkerrin Clonberne from Galway has become a nice little rivalry over the last few years, I have to say. So how's all in the Carnacon camp, and looking forward to this one?
Yeah, it's an annual event now at this stage, isn't it? We were looking back over the last few years of how often we've played them and who's won and who's lost. I think we started playing them in 2013 and we won that year. They were a very young side coming in that time, and you could just see how talented they were, and they bet us then the following 2 years, then we bet them the following 2 years, and then they've beat us the last 2 years. So it's been a great rivalry. The games have always been brilliant. Like, our most memorable one was probably 2017 when we drew with them, and then there was a replay, and they're both really exciting games. So they're always good encounters. They've had the edge in us now the last 2 years, but we'll see how it goes now at the weekend. But yeah, all is good in the camp. We're enjoying it so far. We're enjoying the campaign. Short and sweet as well, which is nice. And lots of games as well too. So
Good, yeah. No, I was at a couple of those games in recent years, I have to say, absolute crackers. And does the Mayo-Galway rivalry add a bit of spice to it as well, Fiona, the fact that you would have obviously played against some of those girls as well at inter-county level?
oh yeah, absolutely. Over the years, you'll be playing them in county and you'll be playing them in club. You know, the likes of Olivia Dibley and obviously the Wards and Clark and Lindsay Noon and those. And there's a constant rivalry there with Mayo and Galway over the years anyway. So it adds that extra bit of excitement. And I know before that, our biggest rivals in Connacht would have been Finn. They were our rivals for years, and they were very unlucky not to win a Connacht title in the years that they were quite successful in Galway. So it's always been there, that Mayo-Galway thing. So it'll continue.
I sure will. We'll be keeping a close eye on it, I have to say. Looking forward to the updates over the weekend. Roisin Howard, how are you?
I'm great now, Jackie. Thanks.
So before Fiona and Carnacon get into the field of play at the weekend, you have a game tomorrow night against the Banner down in Kilmihil. So congrats on the county title first and foremost. Roisin, short enough turnaround, 5 days, but I guess you'll be ready.
Yeah, exactly. Look, we were just focusing, I suppose, on our county final, and I suppose Aherlow have become big rivals, but always a competitive match, and we were just looking forward to that game for since we won the semi-final, and we look no further. Now I suppose even after the match, I know officials said to me best of luck on Friday, and I had no idea what they were talking about. So, so look, we weren't looking beyond Aherlow because they are a great team. So yeah, I suppose we just turn our attention now to our next match. And it'll be an interesting one. We don't really know what to expect. We obviously know that the Banner have great players, and even I suppose I got the opportunity to play with the players such as like Laurie Ryan and Naomh in the last few years with UL. And then I suppose Grania Nolan as well is a great player. So I haven't really seen them much playing together as a unit, but we know as individuals they're great players, and I'm sure that their leadership qualities then will bring them together good as best they can as a club. So look, we don't really know what to expect, but we'll just give it our best shot, and if we're in the game, we'll drive at it and we'll see what comes our way.
Yeah, good luck and safe trip down tomorrow night, Roisin. We'll come back to you there in a couple of minutes. I'm just conscious Gavin Mangan's on a tight enough time schedule. How are you, Amy? You're out at the weekend against Portlaoise in the Leinster club. I'll just take you back to last year first of all, because you were All Ireland Intermediate champions, and you seem to have be enjoying another impressive season in Offaly. So to win the county title was obviously very, very special again, Amy.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Like, it was 6 in a row, but this year I think it was just the added pressure because we did go and win the Intermediate All-Ireland last year, because if we came out and lost in Offaly, then it'd nearly be falling apart then. So it was a bit of added pressure on top of that to go and win it and do the 6 in a row. So we're delighted we could. But now we're, again, a step up now and into senior in Leinster. So it's just a completely different ball game. We don't really know what to expect. We don't know what level we are compared to Portlaoise now. So it's exciting to have Sunday to look forward to now.
Absolutely. Portlaoise stopped Sarsfields in their tracks. They were going for, I think it was 8 in a row in Laois, and that game was streamed live. Did you get a chance to look at it, or what kind of insight do you have into Portlaoise ahead of the weekend, Amy?
Yeah, well, personally myself, I looked at it for about 5 minutes and turned it off straight away then, because
Right.
I was a bit scared. But no, I'm sure management have done their job anyway, and they've knuckled down and kind of what we need to follow. We're expecting a massive step up, obviously, as it is senior, like, but I don't know, there's not much more we can do. I think the best thing was for us not to look at the game anyway, because we would get too kind of nervous then. But no, we're all excited to play and kind of see where we are then against the senior team.
So, Amy, how's life off the field of play for you? I know that Fiona is doing a PhD, and Roisin's about to embark on a master's as well. So they're busy students. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm now more to that, but it's so disappointing. But it could be worse. But yeah, looking forward to get back playing with DCU as well. Hopefully it'll be back a bit normality next semester anyway. And we'll go at the O'Connor Cup then again.
Yeah, good stuff. Fingers crossed we get games played and we get that O'Connor Cup back up and running next year. Good to see you, Amy. And as I say, if you need to head off at any time, I think you said 3 o'clock to me. It's 2:45 now, so just give me the nod and you can slip off, no problem whatsoever. But we'll be back to you shortly. Fiona, Amy touches on something there in terms of preparing for a game, and obviously because you have so much insight on Kilkerrin, Clonberne, having met them so much over the last few years, is there a danger of I think the phrase is analysis by paralysis, or is it the other way around? Or do you just say, right, okay, we know all about these, if we just go in and concentrate on our strengths, while at the same time obviously focusing on their key dangers? Or what way do you prepare for a game like this?
Yeah, I suppose we're used to it now over the years, kind of playing the same teams. You know, when you get out of Mayo, even playing within Mayo, you're playing the same teams every year, because there's a small number of teams in seniors. So I like to know the other team. I like to know what you're up against. I like to know what to expect, but that's a personal thing. Other people might be different. I think it's good. I think both sides, though, you know, we're going in, we know a bit about them, we know what to expect from them in the past. They're the same as us. They might look at our team and presume what to expect as well. But then every year is different, and things change, positions change, and every year we've played them, they've had players in different positions, and you know, so there's always going to be the unexpected as well on the day. So you can't overly focus on what you know about them, but all we know is that they're a tough side, and you know, they're very strong, and they're what's really good about them is they're a very balanced team, particularly for a club level. They don't really have any weaknesses in any areas. So if, you know, we know ourselves, like they've had the edge on us over the last couple of years, and you know, we know we're capable of doing a job, but at the same time, if we have to be at our very best in order to beat them, as I said, because they're so balanced and because they have such excellent players then in such key positions on the pitch too. So I don't mind knowing what I'm coming up against. It makes it more exciting too, in a way, you know.
Okay. Fiona, how's things off the pitch for you? Because obviously we mentioned the PhD, and you do a lot of work for LGFA in terms of being an ambassador as well. How have you managed to balance everything and keeping up the training, and obviously games coming thick and fast as well?
It's been good. It's been fine. I've been quite lucky, quite privileged over lockdown. You know, I haven't had many stumbling blocks. I was quite lucky in that I was going into my 4th year of the PhD. So being in UL wasn't overly important for me, and a lot of my data collection was finished. So I was lucky in that sense as well. And I'm able to work from home, and I've no other major responsibilities bar going down home for club training at the weekend and midweek, you know. So in that sense, I'm quite lucky. I'm I'm lucky in that I can balance my time because I'm the only person I have to worry about. So it's good. It's fine. It's nice now to have the football back, to be fair, because over lockdown, everyone I know was doing their own bit and trying to keep themselves ticking over just in case we actually got football back, because at one stage we didn't think we would.
Yeah.
But it's not the same as me now training. So I'm just really grateful now that we're able to train with our team and meeting up 3 times a week and having the games, so.
Some bit of normality back, all right.
Exactly.
Fiona, Roisin, for yourself, a Masters beckons. Obviously, you know Fiona well from your days at UL, so you're moving on to Mary I now, yeah?
Yeah, not too far away, but it's a new start, I suppose. And even I went down this week and I met 2 of my housemates and stuff, so it's just nice to kind of get a bit of normality back, even though it's going to be online and stuff. But I suppose even for me, a kind of a proper schedule and routine in the last 2 years especially have proved like very vital into me as a person and like kind of controlling my life on and off the pitch. So I just thought it was important to kind of move down there and try and get things as normal as possible again.
Okay, and Roisin, are you linking back up with Tipperary then, or have you been back in yet, or what's the situation there? Have you been dipping in and out, or just focused mainly on club?
Yeah, I suppose my focus has been on club. I was back playing camogie with Tipperary all right since before lockdown, and then returned again. They have been on to me to go back playing football with Tip, and I am interested. It's just probably the balance that I'm kind of like, will I get it? I think I'm going to give it a go and see how things go, and look, if something has to give, then I'll see. But yeah, I'm interested in going back playing, and look, there's great players in Tip, and it is a privilege to be involved in it, so I don't want to let the years fly by either.
Okay, good stuff. I wish you well, Roisin. And Amy, you're obviously a key member of the Offaly setup as well. So are you back to, have you been dipping in and out of Offaly as well as, or just concentrating on the club for now?
We were just concentrating on club for now. Offaly's actually only gone back training the last 2 weeks, I think. So we just went and kind of were there as a part of the panel there the other night, but we won't be actually training with them or anything like that until club is over, where there's kind of very few of us in from our club in there. I think maybe about 4 when there should be a good few more, but that's just the way the setup is at the moment. But no, we're in there anyway, and we're just being a part of the panel for now, but we're not training until club is over. We're going to commit to that first.
Okay. What did you make of the draw for the championship, for Offaly's draw and the group you're in, Amy?
Yeah, look, with Offaly at the moment, it's a different team every year, so we don't really know where we're at the moment. But we have Wexford now on the 31st, and then we've Roscommon, and we don't know where to stand with Wexford now, because we never played them last year. But Roscommon are a very tough team, so we know that'll be a tough game anyway, and no doubt Wexford will be too. But we do have the extra few girls that are coming in this year that just have bringing experience as well, that they just weren't in there the last few years. And the likes of Ellie McAvoy, she's coming in, and I think there's talks of Kim Fiore coming back in as well. So that'd be brilliant to get them girls back in, and it just give us a bit of a lift that we've been lacking for the last few years.
Yeah, just from the outside looking in, Offaly ladies football seems to be in a very good place, Amy.
Yeah, well, there's a kind of a drive this year anyway, and maybe at the end of last year, we're kind of just getting things a bit more set and taking it a bit more seriously. It fell apart there a few years ago, but no, the stepping stones are in the right places anyway. So hopefully now, by the end of next year, the end of this year and come early next year, we'll be at the right place, and girls be wanting to play again, and we'll be getting back to where we used to be anyway. Okay,
we'll keep an eye on your progress. We wish you well, Amy. Fiona, we've had Sharon Courtney and Cora on recently, players who have had magnificent careers and won lots of titles and been around for a good few years. And I asked them this question, and I'm going to put it to you as well. Where do you find the hunger and the drive and the commitment to come back year on year and to compete in county finals and Connacht Championships? And, it's not so long since you were in an All-Ireland club final as well, Fiona. So where does it come from, that drive to just keep coming back for more year on year?
To be honest, I think when you're successful in something, it's easier. I'd find that question more important for teams who aren't doing so well and who probably
Sure.
don't feel they've any realistic chance every year. Do you know, teams who may never win a county title, how they come back. So I find we're very lucky in that we've been successful for the last 20 years in Mayo, and it just makes it easier every year because you know you have a chance of going on and progressing. And over the years, we've always felt we had a realistic chance of going on to win an All-Ireland title. So that was always our drive every year. Obviously, we had 3 stepping stones: county, Connacht, and then All-Ireland. But it's, you know, when you have good people in your club as well, and you know, we've great club people at the moment, and they're constantly bringing it. We're constantly bringing in younger girls into the panel. And I suppose someone asked me the other day, you know, does it get sweeter every year? You know, does it get better winning, or you know, or your first one's better? But we're always every year trying to just make sure that the new girls that come into the panel, they have a taste of success as well. So you know, we've 3 new girls into our panel this year, 2 under-16s and another minor. And we just want them to have a taste of success. And we did that winning the county final. So that was one of our motivations this year, was to get them over the line and let them see what it's like. But to be honest, like, if I didn't enjoy football, I wouldn't play. Like,
Okay.
I enjoy football. I love it. And if I wasn't enjoying it, if it was a chore to go to train, and if it was a chore to play games, if it caused me stress, to be honest, I don't think I'd be able to do it. So while I'm enjoying it, I feel, you know, you give it your best shot while you're enjoying it, because as Roisin said there, you don't have too many years playing either, so you may make the most of it. You know, while you have a core group there, you may as well try and get the most out of those players as well.
Okay, it's been a phenomenal career, Fiona, I have to say, and hopefully more left in the tank and more titles to achieve as well. Roisin, we were speaking to Ashley McCarthy earlier on in the week, just looking back on last weekend, and I put it to her that if you had a Camogie game last Saturday and you had to go again on the Sunday, it might have been pretty hairy against Aherlow on the Sunday. You might not have got to extra time in the first place, and then there seemed to be that extra kick that you found in extra time as well.
Yeah, look, to be fair, I know it caused like huge controversy and whatever, but in reality, like, we went 7 points down as it was in the first half of the game, and that was with playing no match the day before. So I can't even imagine what it would have been like if we had played a match. And it's, I suppose, with the dual thing, it was 10 people that would start on both teams, so it was the majority of the team that would be playing again. So it just wouldn't have been possible at all. And even like, we had done it for the semi-final, and we really felt it, especially in I suppose we got a bit of adrenaline in the second half, which helped us kick on. But in the first half, we were really, really struggling and went down by nearly, I think it was 9 points in the semi-final as well. So it just wouldn't have been possible. And I suppose we really respect Aherlow as a team, and we just knew we wouldn't have had a chance of beating them.
Okay. Amy, I'm gonna bounce one last question off you, because I'm gonna let you go then, because I know you're tight on time. Amy, just the rise of Naomh Ciaran in the last couple of years, obviously people locally would have been aware of you, but you've sprang to national prominence in more recent times. Talk to me a little bit about that, and the players you're pulling from, and the catchment area there, and the size of the club, Amy.
Yeah, that's a kind of a controversial topic, I suppose, because there is a large catchment area. But look, when you compare our catchment area to the likes of Tullamore, who'd be a big club as well, it's the exact same, that kind of way. But no, we're very lucky that we do have the players that we do have, but we do have the few from different areas to come together to combine to make Naomh. So we are lucky in that sense. But I think we've been underage and everything, so it was just because we've knitted together and we've just stayed going from underage and came up, and then we've one older girl left with us now, and then we've a load of younger girls coming up, and then the management, the setup and the management for our club is just, it's unbelievable, and I think we're just so lucky to have it. And that's a massive part of our success. Absolutely. It's at the moment it's Colin Kenny, Mikey Kenny, his father, and Pádraig Boland in with us, and they're like any county setup, if not better as well. And because we know them personally, I think we just respect them so much more, and it just wants us to do even more for the club and to make them proud of us and to do it for them as well. So I think that's a massive part of the success.
Okay, I wish you well at the weekend, Amy, and thanks for coming on. I'm going to let you go. I know you're tight on time, and thanks for coming on today, Amy. That's Amy Gavin Mangan from Naomh Ciaran. They're playing Portlaoise
Thank you.
Club at the weekend. Best wishes, Amy. Thank you.
Thanks. Good luck.
Amy.
See you later, Amy. She's gone. We wish her well. That's Naomh Ciaran from Offaly against Portlaoise in the Leinster club at the weekend. Fiona, she talks about the setup there, Amy, in terms of what they have in Naomh Ciaran, and you've touched on the setup that Carnacon have as well. I asked Cora as well recently about Jimmy and the impact that he had on the club, and he sadly passed last year. In your eyes, Fiona, what's the legacy that he left, and that enduring legacy that will stretch for years and decades and generations into the future?
Yeah, Jimmy obviously was Carnacon. He set up Carnacon along with Beatrice Casey, who's our manager. And I still remember even when I was, I'd say I was 9 years of age, and my mother still tells me about it. I went home one evening and I said, this guy called to our school and he asked us to come training this evening. So I sure I'd never played football before. I probably played a bit in the school, but Jimmy, that was Jimmy. Like he was going around constantly trying to get girls to play football, and that's his legacy, because he was gathering girls up at years ago trying to get them to play, and what he achieved then in 2002 when we won our first All Ireland was from all of that hard work of, just promoting the game within Carnacon and just making the environment really enjoyable for girls that they wanted to keep coming back and playing. So that legacy will long live on. It's still hard without Jimmy. We still miss him on the sideline. We miss him at training, just even his presence alone, and just his happy head. He was just an absolute gentleman. He was gentleman to deal with. I don't think he ever raised his voice to us in the dressing room or ever raised his voice on the sideline. He was just a pure football man, but went about his business very quietly and then just in a great way. So as I said, we'll miss him, but we're still motivated now to try and succeed for him. Last year was very tough, the first year without him, but we're still striving to make him proud as well.
Yeah, great. Well said, Fiona. He was an absolute legend. I only had fleeting dealings with him from the outside in, and anytime just an absolute gent, and sadly missed. Roisin, the formative influences on your playing life, who were they, and how did you get involved in sport all those years ago?
Well, I suppose my parents have a massive interest in sport in general. My mum would have played with Camogie, with Galway and Dublin. So I suppose the Camogie side definitely came from her, but at the same time she's interested in me and what I want to do as well. So I suppose when I showed interest in playing football, they supported that as well. And then all the coaches that I've had throughout the years, suppose even in Cahir, we were lucky that suppose I grew up playing with Ashley Maloney and Ashley McCarthy, and we just had a great understanding of how each other played. We were very successful, and it was just really, I suppose, a special group of players as well. So yeah, I suppose they would have had massive influences on me. And even when I went to UL then, I suppose I really looked up to the likes of Fiona, Joanne Craig from Roscommon, because I could see how good they balanced everything. And it was probably something that I wasn't really good at in my first and second year of college. I kind of lost the run of myself a little bit, but in third and fourth year then I really knuckled down, and I could see how successful they were at balancing everything, sport and I suppose social life as well is important, and then putting in the effort off the field work wise as well.
So you took her under your wing, Fiona. You looked after Roisin.
Yeah, Roisin's a great girl. You should be very proud of yourself, Roisin. Roisin worked really hard last year. But I could see that she was trying to balance a lot of things between camogie, football, trying to finish final year in college, and obviously succeeded in that and is going on to a master's now. So it was just disappointing that we didn't get to finish out our football time in UL like Roisin's year. They were a great bunch. It was Roisin, Shauna Howley, Ashton Kelleher and Cueva Moore. and I know Joanne Craig as well was finishing up last year too, and they were just dying to finish out their college career, and we were just unlucky that obviously COVID hit the day before the O'Connor Cup. So it was disappointed for those girls, because they, in their first year, Roisin's first year, they won the O'Connor Cup, and this was their final year. So we prepared really well, and we were really looking forward to it. But maybe there might be a rule now to bring all those girls back for next year's O'Connor Cup.
We'll have to ask DJ Collins and Donald Barry. But yeah. Roisin, just in terms of a football education then, and look, you're obviously highly educated in terms of the actual definition of the word, but in football terms, when you go into college and you're playing with girls like Fiona, how much does that improve you as a footballer? Now look, you've mentioned Aisling McCarthy and Aisling Maloney, two players who would grace probably any inter-county team in the country, but you move on then and you play alongside other inter-county players. How big an impact is that on your career and in terms of developing as a player?
Oh, it's absolutely massive. And I suppose in the last few years, I would have been playing in the full forward line in ladies football, and I suppose myself, Emer Scally and Hannah O'Donoghue kind of developed a great relationship.
Unbelievable line
in the full forward line. But it was kind of the first time where I was like, there's so much more you can do than just running for the ball in the full forward line. It's about creating space. And I think I learned that loads from playing with the two girls, because we just developed so much of a great understanding of creating space and everything. And it was more than just getting the scores. It was helping each other out as well, and doing just movement off the ball and creating space from others maybe when you were a bit tired. So yeah, it was so eye-opening, and it will be definitely something that I'll try and bring forward into my career with other teams, and just trying to talk to other players as well.
Yeah, Fiona, just in terms of football, and you've touched on it, that you got through lockdown okay. Football is obviously a massive part of your life. How much did you miss it when you didn't have it?
It was I probably didn't overly miss it. It was nice to have a bit of a break, but it was more so not getting to play the O'Connor Cup, because obviously we trained all year for it, and that you build yourself up for that weekend. That's the ultimate stage of the college's competition. So it was more so not getting to play in that I was disappointed. Probably happy then to have a while off. But at the same time, I was still thinking about football and still thinking, right, well, if we get back, I need to be fit, and I need to, not be rusty on my skills and things like that. So I just kept myself ticking over, and that's because of the love of the game, and because I was just looking at what's next, what's down the line, will we get to play club? So I suppose in a sense I was always thinking about it, but at the same time it's nice to have that break as well, because when you're playing colleges and it runs into another competition, you don't really get that break. Obviously I haven't been playing county football over the last 3 seasons, but before that, there was time when the girls and all that to play college, and if you do get far in club runs till December, so you were playing county all year round, runs into club, then it runs into college, and it was never ending for about 5 years there in a row, which was brilliant. And as I said, if you're enjoying it, then it's fine, but if you're not, then obviously it could take its toll. But no, I'm glad to be back now, but geez, the break is definitely nice too. It's more so not being on the road. It's not not so much the training itself or that kind of thing. It's more the commitment of having to be somewhere and having to be somewhere at a certain time, and the structure there in your life. It was nice there not to have that structure, to have your weekends off, and just, if I want to go out and do some runs, or if I want to go for a kickabout, well, I can do it, but I can decide at what time I'll do that at. So that was probably the nice side of it. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Fiona, great to have you on. I have to say, good to catch up, and good to see you're doing well. And Roisin Howard as well. We wish you well against the Banner tomorrow evening down in Kilmihil in County Clare. And Fiona and Carnacon are taking on Galway's Kilkerrin Clonberne in the Connacht Club Championship at the weekend. And thanks to Amy Gavin Mangan as well from Naomh Ciaran and Offaly, who joined us earlier on to look ahead to their game against Portlaoise. Ladies, enjoy the rest of your Thursday and Friday, and best wishes over the weekend. And thanks for coming on today.
Thanks very much, Jackie. Best of luck, Roisin.
Same to you, Fiona.